channel today. I'm in Cherokee Falls, South Carolina, reminiscing on my childhood from when I was just a knee-high grasshopper. My grandparents lived here up until the early 2000s, and then my great-grandparents lived here until my great-grandfather unfortunately passed away, and my great-grandmother lived here until a couple years ago. And so I've come back to reminisce. I haven't been down here just to be able to go look around in quite some time, so this place has changed a lot. But I'm looking forward to sharing my childhood memories with all you. And if this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button. If you like this video at the end, give it a big thumbs up. Lets me know you care and lets me know you like it. Hey, let's get this one started. And there's that mill I was telling you about, the old cotton mill. Since then has changed to Herbie's famous fireworks right there. But yes, and you'll see these fireworks probably all over the state. And then they have their warehouse right down here, and this is alongside the Broad River. Is right on the other side of this mill. But when I was a kid, the reason why I mentioned this mill, when I was a kid, I was up at my grandma and grandpa's house. They would come out, they out here in the parking lot here, they would come out and shoot fireworks and test fireworks a lot. So every time I was down here spending the night with my grandparents or after school, because whenever I used to come down here, I was still in elementary school, and you would hear fireworks going off all the time. They'd shoot them during the day and test them. You know, you gotta test them, I guess. So yeah, that's a little bit of about the meal and my experiences with that as far as the fireworks. Now right here is the Cherokee Falls Missionary Fellowship. I've been to a lot of church services there with my grandparents. That church has been there for quite some time. Now I've come to my next location, and that trailer right there used not to be there. That used to be another mill house. But right here is the location where my grandma and grandpa's house used to sit way back in the day. And I played out here in this yard many of times when I was little. And I have found two little things of concrete here down in the ground, and one over here as well, right there, to show that there was a house back here on this land. And this would have been their front porch right here, where you'd walk into the living room, but they actually used the other side of the house, and you'd walk into the kitchen. Now over here, they used to be right there and right there used to be two trees that come up, and right in this area, right beside the two trees, there used to be a old tin building and an old Volkswagen. If I'm correct on that, I believe there's an old Volkswagen. But yeah, I used to play all right in here. It's crazy. And you also have this left. My grandpa put these here, and these were steps, and he would park right along in here every evening whenever he would get off work, and he would walk down those steps and walk down this hill here, right in here. And I would say about right here would be the front of their house. Would have been the front. It was a two-story house, 2 rooms upstairs. You walk in, you had your kitchen, go to your right, you go in the living room over there to the back of the house, and then you had a bedroom. Just a regular old mill house, you know. But yeah, can't believe these are still here. Yep, my grandpa put those in with his bare hands probably. And that might be some brick from the old house with the underpinning there they had. Amazing. But man, this is different. Looks totally different. Now we have reached my great-grandparents' old house here in Cherokee Falls. And right down there is just where my grandparents used to live at. I used to play out here in this yard when I was a kid, have Easter egg hunts at Easter time and stuff. I used to eat some real good breakfast in this house though. My great grandpa, tell you a funny story. I used to want to eat 3 eggs every morning back then, and my great grandpa would always cook me 3 eggs. Well, one morning my great grandma was cooking. I called them Ma Kent and Pa Kent, so that's how I'm going to reference them here. What I called them. So Ma Kent was cooking one morning, and she asked me what I wanted, and I told her I wanted 3 eggs, and she told me no, that was too much. I can only have 2. And that's when Pa Kent told her to cook that boy what he wants. He's a growing boy. So she cooked me 3 eggs. And that man, whenever he cooked Pa Kent, he would cook the whitest eggs in the world. Real good eggs. But yeah, just reminiscing today is all I'm doing, really. I loved the Mill Hill when I was little, coming over here, roaming the Mill Hills and seeing all your friends down here and everything. Plus, I mean, your grandparents lived there, your great-grandparents lived here. You know, my dad, he also lived in the house behind me, but I'm not going to show it because someone's living in that house that's at home outside, and they have a few people outside, so I'm not going to invade in their privacy. But yeah, just sharing some Mill Hill history with you. And if you can see this right here, this is where a sticker used to be. And I put that sticker up years ago in the early 2000s. It was a Cowboy Up sticker. This house is actually the one that my dad lived in for a little bit. That's pretty cool that you can still see it there, knowing it's there. It was there 5 or 6 years ago when I rode by. Yeah, that's awesome. That says Cowboy Up in this little sticky etching there, you see. I've come to my next location, this little landing here at the Broad River at the bottom of the mountain here in Cherokee Falls, right below where my grandparents used to live at. I spent a lot of time right here throwing rocks, skipping rocks out through there. My grandma would bring me down here and I'd just throw rocks. There are a lot of rocks out there from the 90s. That's all I can say about that. Yeah, I used to come down here and fish, throw rocks, what have you. Beautiful Broad River right here. And there is the Herbie Fireworks Mill. It's right here by the Broad River itself. Spent many times down here though on this river, fishing, skipping rocks. Right there is where I skipped the rocks. That's just a look back from down here at the river to the hill. That's the trailer. So my grandparents' house would have been on the other side of that trailer. And right there, that house, the third house, you see 1 house, 2 house, 3 house. The third house up there is my great-grandparents' house. And that white house is right there was my dad's old house. The house over here used to be owned by an old man named Buck. He used to have a bunch of chickens. That is now the home of Booger Jim's haunted house though. And then you have the Cherokee Falls Fellowship Church there. Then the mill right here. I've spent a lot of time down here in these hills though, walking around them. Right here in this field, below the church here. We used to play a lot of football out there and everything else. They used to park the old transfer truck trailers back over there, and we used to climb in the back of them, play in them. And this old tree right here that you see, that piece of wood nailed to, that was the backboard to the basketball goal we used to play on down here. This is right behind the church. But yeah, I played many of games on that old backboard there. We just had an old plywood backboard with a regular old rim on there. But we played many a games down here on that thing. That's cool. It's still hanging there after all these years. Because that had to be 10, let's see. That was 15, 20 years ago. That piece of plywood was hanging there, and that tree is at least 20 years old, I would say. That's a long time ago. If not 20, it's at least 15. But I'm gonna say 15 to 20, at least 15 years to 20 years. That thing's been hanging there. But yeah, me and my buddy, and everyone down here in the Mill Hill would get down here and we'd play some games, have a good old time. Now I'm driving, but here's another part of the mill too as well. That's right here behind the main part that I showed you. Also, as we drive through here, and I don't know how true this is, but I was told at one time that this right here used to be a store, but I'm not sure. It's just right on the side of the road here. If you know, I know some of you that watches my channel is from this area. If you know what this used to be, comment and tell me down below. But now I'm just traveling on over here. We're going to go to my next location down here in Cherokee Falls. Then we're going to head over to the town of Blacksburg after this one. We're going to turn right here on Peeler Road. That is another part of the mill. It's the back part of the mill there. Warehouse number 2, Wendell Fabrics. See on the sign there to your left above the red containers. Wendell's Fabrics, warehouse number 2. And this is the next location, the old ball field down here in Cherokee Falls. I used to play for the Cherokee Falls softball team back when I was a boy from the church, the Fellowship Church, Cherokee Falls Fellowship Church. And this is where we would hold our practices at. Never played a game here. We would always play over in Gaffney at the old Ford complex. But this is where I spent a lot of time practicing out here for the softball games. Still got the original wood there coming up for the bench, the players' bench. Over there they used to have like a concessions building. Still do. They still do. I'm gonna walk over there. Now looking here in the mud into the field, you can see this is used by deer now. A lot of deer tracks down there. They use this as the main way to get through the field, I guess. I guess they're playing ball now. Deer baseball. And here is that home plate I used to stand at, about right there where that cheer's at. That's where the pitcher mound would be. How awesome. Reliving my childhood right here. I like the fact they still have the wooden benches here, player benches from whenever I played here. Half of it's gone, as you can tell, but half of it still remains. And the bleachers are now over here on this side, third baseline. Have been taken over and grown up in trees over there. But yeah, pretty amazing to know that I used to sit right here at practice sometimes. Practice out here on this field. Then you have this building over here in the woods. Now this has always been here. I'm not sure exactly what it was used for. This was here before my time of playing here. I believe it was the concession stands maybe. That's the only thing I could think of. But if you know what this building used to be, it's right behind the third base line, right behind the I thought I heard something. Right behind the benches here on the third base line. And this building right here has actually been here for years. It's actually for sale now. But it's right outside of Cherokee Falls, I believe. I don't believe this is the Cherokee Falls area that we're in no more. Going into Blacksburg, South Carolina. But my great-grandpa, Pa Cat, would me and him would bring my great-grandma, Ma Cat, down here to get her hair done. I remember coming after school, he would pick me up. They would pick me up from school maybe or something, and we'd bring her down here, and we'd sit out here in the car and wait on her while she went in and got her hair done. And this vlog's bringing back a lot of memories. I'm really enjoying all the memories flooding back in here. It's awesome. And the next place I've come to here in Blacksburg, South Carolina, is the Ed Brown's Championship Rodeo Arena. He had this for, I believe it went on for 52 years, maybe 51 years. Every year, the first weekend in August, he would always have his rodeo here. Mr. Brown passed away, unfortunately, and sadly, back in 2021. And the family since then no longer carries on the rodeo. But yeah, there was a lot of memories here. Every year we'd come here and to see the rodeo each year, and you would walk right through these gates, and they used to have like two cow heads or bull heads hanging out there to sign up. I'm gonna put some still photos in here and show you all what it looked like back then. And you would park your cars out in this area, and on around there's a lot more back there. This whole place will be packed every year, and there's the main sign out there at the road. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna put some still shots in here while I'm talking and let you see how it looked back then. But we would come here every year, like I said, from when I was a boy up until it closed, just about. And I enjoyed it. I love coming every year. My whole family always looked forward to coming to the Ed Brown's Rodeo. It has so much history here, and they had some great shows. I would always wish, especially when I was younger, I'd always wish they'd have it more than one time a year, because I really enjoyed it. Watching the bull riding was my favorite, of course. But they had a full. It wasn't just the bull riding. They would have bareback, roping, steer wrestling, barrel racing, bull riding, the whole 9 yards they had in 2 nights. Like I said, it'd be that first weekend, Friday and Saturday every year in August they would have one. And there's a lot of history here on this land right here. The man that owned it, like I said, is Ed Brown, and this is his backyard. This was his backyard when he was living. He turned his backyard into this. He loved the rodeo business so much he turned his own backyard into an arena, and invited not only the locals but people around the state, North Carolina, all over the country would come here every year to this one event, to the rodeo, to either ride in it or to take part and be a fan and enjoy the rodeo experience, enjoy the bull riding, the calf roping, the steer wrestling. Now, I like steer wrestling too. I gotta be honest, that's my other favorite is steer wrestling. I enjoyed watching it. And in the 90s, early 2000s, they'd talking about steer wrestling. It's not steer wrestling, it's calf roping though. They actually had inside like a mechanical thing. You'd sit on top of a horse, and a mechanical calf would actually take off, and you would try to rope it. And I enjoyed playing that when I came up here. And they would have that. They would have a mechanical bull they would bring. They would bring ponies you could ride. This is up top of the hill here, like on the main concourse I'm talking about now. And they would also have fire rides, like a Ferris wheel, and some little rides for kids. And you would have souvenirs and things as well. And I remember that they stopped this in the most recent years, I believe. But back in the early 90s, back in the 90s when I was coming up, early 2000s, I remember when you came, you could also, every year I'd get a hat spray painted. You'd get a white solid cowboy hat, and they would spray paint the color on you. You had the feather in it. But yeah, I enjoyed getting those. I don't know, it's just something about the rodeo experience. But yeah, I wanted to share some of my experiences here at the Ed Brown's Rodeo, because, like I say, it was such a huge part of my childhood and into my teenage years and my adulthood as well. I hate to see it come to an end, but I totally understand why, and I respect the reason why. it was just sad that Mr. Brown passed away in 2021, but he lived a great life, putting on some great rodeo shows, I know for sure, because I attended, like I said, almost every one of them. But yeah, this is Ed Brown's Rodeo, and I hope you enjoyed the pictures I showed you. And this is the old storefront building that sits outside of Ed Brown's, that many people have seen over the years. Right here, as you see, the arena is just right behind it, back there. There is the great big famous sign that has always sat out here at the end of the road. As you see right there, it says August blank and blank. They let that spot blank, and they would change the dates every year, because like I said, it was always the first weekend in August. They would have this at 8 p.m. every year. 52 years in a row. Now I moved to downtown Blacksburg, right here at the Benham Shelf Pizza, and I used to come here and eat a lot here at the Benham Shelf Pizza when I was little. This is one of our favorite places to grab supper at. They have some great pizza here at the Benham Shelf. Alright, now I'm at downtown Blacksburg, here under the one red light that's in town here. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the buildings here and some of my memories here in this town of Blacksburg. Now right here, these two buildings, right here at the intersection of the only red light. I'm not sure what road name this is. They don't have a road name posted right here, but this is 29. I do know that. But right here, one of these two buildings, I can't remember exactly which one, but I want to go with this one right here. Used to be the Ed Brown's building. You could come down here and buy his shirts or tickets. But yeah, he had a shop down here too, downtown Blacksburg, back in the 90s, early 2000s, I believe it was, maybe around that time frame. But yeah, and right across from that, walking back up this way a little bit, just right behind where Ed Brown's building would be, they have this old Coca-Cola mural. Drink Coca-Cola in bottles. That's a much older one. As you can see, it's faded out. It's been there for a while, but it's still beautiful as well. Here's another mural. It's the Blacksburg mural. Black Station, it says. Iron City. It's known as the Iron City. That's what Blacksburg is known for. They call it the Iron City, yeah. That's a beautiful mural. You see that right there. On your right is the police station, built in 1898. And that building is actually right there. That's still the police station to this day. Built in 1898, excuse me. I was about to say 1998, but it's 1898 that the police station here in Blacksburg was built. Right there. Police department. And we have come to our last destination here in this vlog in Blacksburg, South Carolina, looking back up the main street. Over the hill over there is the town. But this is the last building I wanted to show, and the last location. This is used to be the home of Main Attraction Video. And back in the 90s, I don't know if some of you young kids remember this, but back then you would have to go to a store and rent a VHS tape, not DVD, VHS, and take it home and put it in your VCR and watch it. And we would come here in Blacksburg, because we lived in Blacksburg at the time, and we would rent our movies from that building right there. And one of my favorite movies, sorry about the traffic going by, there wasn't a sidewalk on the other side, but as far as the movies I remember one movie I used to rent here from all the time. It was called The Borrowers. It was these little bitty tiny people, and I think it's got John Goodwin in it, if I ain't sure. But yeah, definitely check that movie out. That was one of my favorites when I was young. But yeah, I wanted to share this right here with you. main attraction video. Alright guys, that's going to do it right here. In the town of Blacksburg now, we have moved. Started out in Cherokee Falls, worked our way over to the town of Blacksburg, went by Ed Brown's, talked about that a little bit. About all my childhood memories here in Blacksburg, starting, like I say, in Cherokee Falls, working our way here now. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know I sure did, reminiscing and talking about all my childhood memories here. And if this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed this video, get a big thumbs up. It lets me know you care, lets me know you like it. And hey, tell me something down in the comments. What was your favorite thing about this? Or if you had memories here in this location, what's your favorite memories from this location? That's going to do it for this one. I'll see you in the next one.